Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today we are going to talk fundamentals, physical fundamentals of health. Now I haven't talked about this for a while because I've been so into the inner work. However, it's really important that we zoom all the way back and we make sure that we are on track with the fundamentals, the physical fundamentals for our health, to give our body what it needs to actually heal. This includes diet, it includes lifestyle, it includes sleep, it includes detox, it includes supplements, it includes elements of being outside, fresh air, grounding, water, sunlight. So let's go through this today. Today we're going to focus on diet. And I know a lot of you who have been sick for a long time have your own ideas about diet. You have become very religious about diet. You've probably tried a lot of different diets, a lot of different foods in hopes that it will help you, heal you, and yet here you are still here. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the dichotomy because this is important. We're going to bring mind-body healing into healing with diet, which I think is lacking, but super important. Because I think how we do it and what we think while we do it is even more important than actually what we're doing. And so this is what gets lost with a lot of people with chronic disease and chronic illness, is that they believe that it's the action that they take that is the absolute most important thing. And it's actually not. So while action is important and while doing the right things for your body and giving it what it needs, putting it in a position where it has everything it needs to be able to heal itself, that action is not the most important thing. In fact, if you do it in the wrong way, it can be detrimental to your health and even keep you sicker for longer, believe it or not, which is what is so confusing to so many people who do everything. They've like, I've done everything, I've tried everything, and they're sincere about that. And they have been religious about trying all these diets, following through, trying all these protocols, following through, and yet nothing's working. And it doesn't add up because it works for other people. And so we have to step back and say, what is going on here? And that's what I ultimately did. Like, why have I done all of this so much, like everything known to man, and it is not working? What is happening? Why is my body just incapable of healing? Is it just incurable? Or is there something else going on that's blocking my healing, right? And of course, you always look to physical things, you always look to protocols, or you always look to diet, you always look to something else, like something physical, tangible that you can see and touch and go like, this is the problem, this is getting in the way. Once I fix this, it'll be healed. But it's not. It starts in your mind. Your mind is getting in the way. And so we must do the fundamentals in conjunction with mind-body work in order to really, really put yourself in a position where your body can and will heal. So I am super passionate and excited about this topic. And this is the topic that I sort of discuss in my program that I go through in detail. But I want to give you a taste of it here, a flavor of it here, because it's so important. And, you know, it all comes down to this. It's critically important that we really learn and understand this, because yes, we need to do physical things to help our bodies. We cannot just do mind body work and expect to fully heal. We need to give our bodies what it needs. However, mind body work is even trumps the physical things that you need, because your brain is the command center, and your mind, it tells your brain what to do ultimately. Right? And it tells your cells what ultimately to do. And if they are in conflict with each other, then healing can't take place. Then you're not directing your cells to do what you intend for them to do. So strap in, because we're going to be talking about diet, and we're going to be talking about the mind-body principles when it comes to making your diet work for you. Okay, so for those of you who followed my journey from the beginning, and even before I started videos, I have tried every healing diet there is. I mean, I don't think there's a diet that I didn't seriously try, not just for weeks, not just for months, but for years and years, okay? So I see the benefits of these healing diets. I also know that they can become a religion. I know that you can become so married to the idea that something's good for you or something's bad for you, something's harming you or something's healing you, that psychologically you don't see it when you're just desperate to heal and you're trying to, see what foods you're reacting to and what foods you're not. You don't see that the mind is playing a huge role in this. So for those of you know, I was on the raw vegan diet for a long time. And I understand the healing benefits of that diet. I understand the cleanse and the detox that your body gets, the juices, the vitamins, the minerals, the way that your body is really cleansing. But I also don't promote that diet. I absolutely do not promote that diet as the best healing diet, because long term you're not getting enough amino acids, you're not getting enough of these vital fats and vital nutrients that are really going to help you heal. What you want to do here is you want to heal. You don't want to heal because you did the vegan diet. And that's a lot of what I went through. I was like, when I'm healed, I'm going to be able to have a raw vegan success story, or I'm going to be able to have a keto success story, or I'm going to be able to have a carnivore success story. Right? We get married to this diet and we actually think the diet is the thing that's going to heal us, and like we are failures if we're not healing. There are so many communities around these diets where you're building relationships and bonds and ideologies, and you're listening to these people in these circles and you're feeling bonded to this group, right? Almost like a cult, but it's not a cult. Like, it's not bad. I'm saying, but people are bonding over a common diet, and you almost feel guilty if you do something else to heal yourself. You almost feel guilty if you don't follow it perfectly, if you allow in another food, if you change diets, God forbid, right? Because you want to heal. Not only do you want to heal, but you want that particular diet that you married yourself to, that you believe in, that you're holding up the flag for, and so is everybody else. You want to be the next success story for that particular diet. You want to be able to share it. You want your tribe to be proud of you, and you want it to be because of the thing that you held up the flag for and fought for. This was what you believed in, and so there's this psychological part of you that needs and wants that to come true, simply because you have a deeper need of being approved of, not rejected, of not being abandoned, of being recognized, valued, right? And you just can't take any more abandonment or any more shame or any more guilt or any more judgment or any more criticism. And you really have a need for acceptance and belonging and love. And you feel as though if you heal doing it this way, that all of that is going to come. And not only will you be healed, but you'll belong, and you'll be accepted, and you'll be loved, and you'll be valued, and you will be right? The ego has a super need to be right. And if you have believed in this diet and hung your hat on it, you don't want to be wrong. The ego does not like to be wrong. But if you truly want to heal your body, eventually get to the point where you have to put your ego aside. You have to put your ideologies aside. You have to put your beliefs aside. You have to put your pride aside. And you have to put those deep needs for love, acceptance, belonging, and connectiveness aside in order to put your health and yourself first. Okay, so if you're still with me, then put all your beliefs aside for now. You may be strongly held to a belief of a certain diet, but just put them aside for a second and humor me. I know I was strongly tied to different diets at different times during my healing protocol, and nobody would have told me different, that diet wasn't the most important thing and that this diet wasn't the most important way to heal myself. So if you can suspend a minute, if you can just allow your ego to take a back seat, if you can allow yourself to let down your guard and just open your mind and open your heart, we're going to touch base and get a little deeper on diet. And before we start, I just want to say one of the reasons why we need to soften around diet, let down our guard, put our ego aside, is because when you're defending something, when you're in defensive mode, you are also in fight or flight mode. You are in sympathetic mode. And when you're holding something very tightly, you're wired. You are, again, in fight or flight mode when you're desperate, when you're holding on to it, when you're defending with great intensity. You're in fight or flight mode. And my friends, you cannot heal in this state. So just remember, you cannot and you will not heal, no matter how good, how pure, how amazing, how religiously you follow the rules of this diet, and how many people have healed before you. You will not heal if your fight or flight system is activated in any way, stressed out about your diet in any way. As I said, there are many great healing diets out there. We've got really extreme diets that are healing people and that are helpful and that have tons of benefits, including paleo, including paleo AIP, including keto, including nutritional ketosis, right? Including carnivore, including raw vegan, including low FODMAP, including low lectin, including low sulfur. There are many diets out there that are healing people, right? Gluten-free, egg-free. There's so many diets out there. Now, what I subscribe to above all else is it must be real food from the earth that is organically grown and produced. Okay, so it's not processed. It doesn't have 100 ingredients. It doesn't have hydrogenated oils. It doesn't have vegetable oils in it. It doesn't have these shelf-stable products in it at all, period. First rule of thumb for diet for me, for sure, is was it grown by the earth? Was it grown by Mother Nature? Did it grow in the ground or in a tree or on the landscape? Was it roaming? Was it wild? Is this a product grown and given to us by Mother Earth? You can answer yes to that question. The second question is, especially if it's vegetation, is how is it grown? Was it grown in chemicals? Was it grown in bad soil? Right? How was this grown? Was it grown in the wild? Was it grown? Where was it grown and who was it grown by and how was it grown? What was it grown in? Right? What was it watered with? If it was an animal that you're eating, if it's an animal product, was it roaming? Was it free ranging? Was it on the earth? Did it have access to pastures and green grass? Or was it cooped up in a cage with no sunlight? So these questions are important. And I know a lot of people think like, I am so sick, I cannot afford to eat organic. But I truly believe this. I truly believe there's a lot of people out there saying you don't really need organic to heal. I don't believe that. I believe you truly do need to take into account, is this food whole? Was it grown and given to us by the earth? Whatever it is that you're eating must be the purest form of it that you can eat, right? Because you're giving it to your body that needs to improve its health. And you don't want any chemicals, you don't want anything getting in the way, anything rancid, anything laden with chemicals or pesticides or even preservatives in the way of healing when it comes to diet and food. There was a time when I believed that vegetables were seriously harmful, and it harmed me psychologically, actually, looking back, to believe this. I cut out all greens from my diet. I cut out all sulfurs. I cut out all cruciferous vegetables. I cut out lettuces and vegetables and colorful vegetables and everything because I was convinced and I was programmed to believe. Suddenly, my whole life I believed vegetables were good for you. And then I went through this phase that all vegetables were the root of all evil and they were going to harm me, right? So psychologically, let's just step back and see what this kind of perspective can do to a person who's trying to heal. Well, if you are having stomach issues, or if you are trying to rebuild your gut, or if you are having pain and autoimmune symptoms, you may not want to go out and have nightshades and nuts and seeds and dairy and gluten and all the rest of it and eggs, on and on the list goes. But when we cut these things out and we send fear signals to our mind, this is dangerous, this is going to harm me. Our body says danger, danger, danger. And whether we believe that it is putting us in fight or flight or not, it is. And every time a food goes onto your plate, you are literally filled and fueled with fear. Will this harm me? Right? Our danger alerts are super high when we are thinking about diet. if we've tried every diet, we start to believe every food could hurt us. And not only could it block us from healing, but it could actually harm us and poison us. Even to the point that if we so much as eat one wrong food, all our symptoms will come back, all our progress will be stunted. We will have like this major flare and relapse, and we'll have to start at the very beginning and go through everything all again, and we'll never ever heal. Now just step back for a minute, okay? Just like even here, the fear in that statement, the fear in those sentences, the images in my brain that must go along with that, the words that are being said to my body and my mind, right? We're looking at food and we're making a decision every split second whether this is poison, whether this is gonna harm us, right? We're on high alert. We're on this high alert with the most nourishing things for our body, which is energy, which is food, which is vitamins, minerals, amino acids, things that we need, things that our body craves in order to function properly, optimally, in order to do all its cellular processes and detox the liver properly. When we're constantly scanning and judging our food in front of us, criticizing, is it up to par? Aside from the fact that I still believe we should eat whole food from the earth that's organically grown, you should just buy all this. You should go into the grocery store. That's what I do. And I also go to farmers markets. I also have my farms lined up for the meat, and everything that I buy is the best I can do, right? It's organic, it's grown, it's free range, and then I let it go. If something passes my lips that's not organic, I have trained my body now to overlook that, to say, I'm not gonna die over that, right? So 90% of what I eat is organic, it's whole, it's from the earth, and I just let the rest go. I stop scanning, I stop looking, I stop being so judgmental and critical. So although I'm not gonna go into the grocery store and buy all my meat from the grocery store that comes from factory farms, and although I'm not gonna go into the conventional aisles and just start buying all the produce there, because I don't believe that that's healthy, I'm not going to allow my danger signals to take over. I'm gonna calmly grocery shop, I'm going to calmly order the food that I need. I'm going to fill my fridge and my pantries with it. And then I'm gonna let the rest go, because it's way less healthy to be continually scanning and scrutinizing every food that comes across your plate than it is to just say, I've done my best, I'm doing my best, I'm eating the most healthy foods that I believe I can eat, and focusing on health and well-being and healing rather than fearful thoughts, rather than the fear of what could be harming me. So we're gonna do a quick little exercise here. I want you to just take a breath, close your eyes, and I want you to think back to a time when you were healthy. Maybe you were even a child, maybe you were in your 20s, maybe you're in your 30s. I don't know how old you were the last time you can truly remember being healthy. Just go back to that time you were truly healthy, okay? What were you eating? Did you consume dairy? Did you consume gluten? Did you consume vegetables? Did you consume alcohol? Did you consume, conventional food and fried food and the wrong oils? I just want you to go back to this time for a minute. Now, don't think about the foods. Think about you. Think about how it felt to feel healthy, right? You felt good. You were happy eating those foods. You were ignorant, you were blissful, and you were healthy, okay? So although you know more now, because you have to know more, because you've been through something that many people hadn't had to realize the hard way, you now know more about diet, so you can do better than that person. You can do better than that person. However, doing better should make us happier than that person, even healthier than that person. So go back to that healthy version of yourself, right? Who wasn't afraid, who didn't know, who wasn't concerned, who wasn't scanning, who wasn't judging, who wasn't constantly vigilant and on guard against her food. That person was healthy. That person was filled with health, right? And so now when you feed your body these amazing, organic, healthy foods, yes, vegetables, meat, all of it, right? Animal products, vegetable products, nuts, seeds, like all of it. When you put these in your body, when that person put those things in her body, right, she was healthy. and it didn't affect you then. You know, you can probably remember a time when dairy didn't affect you, when nuts didn't affect you, when vegetables and lettuce and red tomatoes or peppers, when eggs, didn't affect your body. If you can remember a time that these things didn't affect your body, then it's not the food. It's your hypersensitivity to the food over time, given a sick body, but mostly your mind's hypersensitivity to that food over time. So the more we begin to program ourselves and believe dairy is the devil, gluten is the devil, nightshades are the devil, nuts and seeds are gonna harm me, right? The more that we believe this and program ourselves to believe this, and we hear stories and evidence that removing these foods heals people and eating them harms them and makes them sick, whether that is true or not, whether it's ultimately true or not, we begin to believe it. It begins to get to our mind on a very primal and a very subconscious level. And when we believe this, our cell is on guard against that food. So if we believe that dairy is going to hurt us and bring back all our symptoms, and if we eliminate dairy, then we'll be healed. If this is what we truly believe in our hearts, every time we see dairy, God forbid, even there's a knife in the kitchen that might get on a little bit of our food, our body is so, and our system, our nervous system, our subconscious is so tuned to that it is reacting, not to the food, but to the thoughts about the food, to the fear about the food, right? It is reacting to keep you safe, whether that food is actually harmful or not. So take this in. This is huge. I really want you to understand this. Your body is likely not reacting to the food. If you say, but every time I eat dairy, I react. Every time I eat gluten, I react. Every time I eat a nut, I react. It is, if you can remember a time where that was a healthy food for you and you had no problems with it, then you are likely reacting to the psychological beliefs and stories and your needs, your need to belong and to be in that tribe and to believe the stories, and you're desperate to heal and you have to hang on to hope somewhere and you want to find it. And if you believe this about the food, then maybe, just maybe, you'll heal. So if you are that caught up in the food, if you are that sure that this food is harmful and maybe even poisonous for you, just so bad, your body is going to react to the thoughts, to the images, to what's going on in your mind, first and foremost, before it ever reacts to the food. And so the example of the lemon has been used, to convey this message in a lot of different examples. But if you close your eyes and you picture a lemon and you picture tasting the lemon and the sourness of the lemon, and you really visualize eating this lemon, even though there's no lemon there, you're gonna salivate, you're gonna have a sour reaction, your mouth is gonna get watery, and there is no food there. There isn't even a lemon. So your body is reacting to the food when the food's not even there. It's reacting to the thoughts, it's reacting to the messages, it's reacting to your expectations that, oh, I'm gonna eat a lemon, and when I'm thinking about it, my body's already getting ready. It's already producing the juices, it's already producing the enzymes in my mouth, just because I'm thinking of it. And this is a prime example. This is true about how if you're afraid of a food, your body is already in defense of that food. Your hormones and your enzymes and everything are already starting to mount a response to activate against it. This is like a classic autoimmune response. Your body is already looking to fight that food, protect you from that food before you even put it in your mouth. So yes, you may think you're reacting to that food, but I can promise you that you are first and foremost reacting to the thoughts and the beliefs and the expectations about the food, and it's driven from fear, and it is harming you. When you're carnivore, you're psychologically cutting out all vegetables because you believe they're harmful for you. And when you're raw vegan, you're psychologically cutting out animal products because you believe that they're harming you. So having been both seriously and staunch supporters of both these diets, I can tell you that when a diet doesn't work for you and you can see it's not working, we hang on to it for way longer just because of our emotional ties and our beliefs and our ego and wanting to be right and all our needs being met and not wanting to be abandoned or alone or wrong, or we're just desperate and we're afraid. However, when we let go, and if we go to the opposite side and we believe the very opposite, right? We build up those beliefs and we become like that meat is so good for you and it's healing and the vegetables are the ones harming you. And so psychologically, I understand that beliefs are critical, because at one point I thought meat was going to kill me, and at one point I thought meat was going to heal me. And so doing that swap in your mind takes effort, it takes work. And then once you believe it though, it's like natural and your body just does it for you. Your body's just on guard against things that you've programmed it to be on guard against. So if you haven't seen my video on how to heal food sensitivities and food allergies, go check that out. It was really hard work for me when I started to realize that my mind was the problem and not the food. And that as long as I was eating whole, organic foods from the earth that was plentiful, and I was eating lots of greens and colorful vegetables and fruit, and almost a paleo diet, I would say, but not being afraid of grains. Now, I still don't eat a lot of grains. I still don't eat gluten. I still don't eat dairy very often. So, it's a very deep-seated. But when I started to allow, I was down to one food. So when I started to allow foods back into my body, cruciferous vegetables or fruit or whatever it is, as long as it's healthy and it's organic, then it's okay for me. And once I knew I could change my mind, I knew I could do this, I knew I could reprogram it, because I had before, out of fear, right? I had gone from raw vegan to carnivore, for instance, and everything in between. So I knew that on one hand, I could be like, oh, I'm on the low FODMAP diet, or I'm on the AIP diet, this is out, like nuts are a problem, but now I'm on the paleo diet, that's totally in, or whatever it is. So I knew that I could psychologically program myself to believe that certain foods were healing, and to really believe that, and to believe that certain foods weren't. So I just decided that I was going to, as long as it was healthy and whole and from the earth and organic and nutritious and colorful and had amino acids in it and, it was free range and whatever it was, that I was going to fill up on all things good nutrition, good for my body. I was going to give my body everything that it needed. Amino acids, fats, carbohydrates, protein. I was going to give my body everything, right? I was going to eat fish again. I was going to eat eggs. I was going to eat everything, and I was going to believe that this was the best healing diet that could possibly be, as long as it was healthy, came from the earth, wasn't processed, didn't have rancid bad oils in it or preservatives, and wasn't produced with chemicals. Then I was going to eat it, and I was going to believe. Here's the key: believe, truly believe. Not say I believed, but the images and the thoughts going on in my mind were detrimental, were kind of saying the opposite, were pulling me and saying, you don't really believe that, that's not really true, you're eating that tomato, but in your mind you're having these images and these thoughts and these words, and you're trying to push them down and suppress them, but you really believe that that's going to harm you. I would look at the tomato, I would read about the benefits of tomatoes, I would think about all the nutrients and the benefits, and I would think about it. And it wasn't until sometimes I had to look at that tomato 5, 6, 7, 8 times for 8 days in a row before I actually felt ready, really, truly ready to say, this is a healthy food. I'm going to get the benefits of this health when I eat it. So it wasn't until I actually truly believed it, and there's the key, that you put it in your mouth and you eat it and you really feel, and you start to feel, here's the key, you think and you feel the right images that you're getting the benefits from these foods, that you actually stop reacting to the foods. Okay, so for diet, we must have a healthy diet. We must get vitamins, minerals, amino acids, proteins, fats. We must get phytonutrients. We must get everything that we can give it, all the nutrients, right, that we can give our body to be healthy. And when we do, when we give our body, when we choose a healing diet, no matter what diet you subscribe to and what diet you want to choose, what diet you believe in it, then you must stop questioning it. You must stop scanning. You must stop worrying. You must stop saying to yourself, was it that I ate? Was it that food? Looking, continuing. You must believe in the diet that you've chosen. You must believe that your food is healing. You must feel the benefits of that healing food, and you must stop having your body and your mind on guard. This is where mind-body healing work comes into. What we believe into existence. The placebo effect is real. What we think, we attract. The law of vibration. If you haven't seen my videos on the law of vibration, go back and watch this. So mind-body healing is super important when it comes to our thoughts and how they relate to diet. So yes, we want a healthy diet. We don't just want to put junk food into our mouth and say, oh, we're going to heal anyways with our mind. No, but they have to complement each other. We have to do the basics. We have to have a healthy diet. We have to get the water. We have to do the lifestyle. We have to go out in the sun. We have to do all these things that are good for our body. And in my course, I talk about a lot of it. I break down all the basics and what you need to do, but we must come at it with our mind fully on board and our heart fully on board and true belief that what we're doing will heal us. And that's when we see the results. That's when we see the results. And so I hope that this video has been insightful. I hope you've learned something. I hope it's really resonated with you. And I know it was long. I know it was a lot of info to pack in. I know it was repetitive, but please watch this video again. Understand it. It is key. It is critical. You need to understand this from everything that you do, every diet you eat, every lifestyle choice, every supplement, every protocol. And once you understand this, then all of those things can work together to actually heal your body, which is what you want. You want to heal. You don't want to have a belief system or have your inner needs met. You can meet those needs of belonging and acceptance in other ways. You can meet those through true mind-body healing techniques and work, right? Inner child work, all of these different methods where you're really connecting to yourself. And once you do that, you can let go of these thoughts and religions and cults. You can settle your body. You can get out of fight or flight. You can stabilize your dysregulated nervous system, and you can heal. So I hope it's been helpful, and I will see you in the next video.